So we're on to the third and final chapter of this. So the hard bits are over now, it's just the nice easy bits to come. We've got the roof to go back on, the car to go back together, we'll do something with the wheels, not a great deal, the wheels are more or less done. That's the roof panel. I did respray that again off camera, it only took a few seconds, I just forgot to film it. So that's there, ready to go back on. It's fairly easy to get that back on, it just goes back on the way it came out really. So that's that. What's more interesting is how I'm going to be putting this back together. I want to try and replicate the original rivets from the factory, that's why I've got the modelling clay out. This modelling clay turned out to have dried out completely, so that's gone. I'm opening the new one, there we go. Most people favour either, I mean a lot of people who put, if they're doing Hot Wheels, a lot of the time they just use super glue because it's a plastic base going onto a metal body. Super glue works really well for that. It can work well for a lot of the Matchbox ones as well. A more permanent, more sort of well-engineered solution would be to the post itself. Well, they call it the post. Where we drilled the rivet from. I suppose it is a post really, isn't it? The kind of little metal pillar that connects the rivet to the base. A lot of people like to drill a little hole into that, and then using a tap and die set, tap a thread into it, and you can then just put an actual screw in there, so you can just unscrew the base with carefree abandon as many times as you want. You can keep taking the car apart really easily to do it again or whatever. So yeah, that method, tapping a thread into the post and using a screw to put the car back together, that's the kind of permanent solution. That's the rock solid permanent way of doing it. And then the super glue method's good because once the super glue's gripped the base plate, that's it. It's not really going to be letting it go unless you make quite a lot of effort to do it. I don't really want to use either of those methods for this. I mean, I haven't done all this just to send it around a Hot Wheels track or give it to a kid to play with. This is going to be going in a display cabinet. It's going to be mantelpieces, shelves. That's its existence from now on, is as an ornament more than anything. It's done its time as a toy, really. So what I'm trying to do with this is, like I say, replicate the original rivets. What's been going on while I've been saying all this is the first abortive attempt, because you often have to do it 2 or 3 times. The modelling clay, it will grip the base plate, but you've usually got to have a couple of goes at it. And then once it is on there, it's not going to be anything like as solid and secure as the other 2 methods that I described. But if you're only going to be displaying the car and moving it about occasionally, it will grip the base plate as much as it really needs to for that. And the nice thing about it is, it just means when you turn it over, if you get it out of your little cabinet to look at it and turn it over, you've got something that actually looks like the original factory rivets, rather than a screw or whatever you've put on there with the super glue, which wouldn't have been there at the factory. So I just wanted to do that with this one, just as a nice thing. It's a slightly unorthodox method, but I do think it's certainly quite a pleasant method to look at. So as you can see, I've taken a small amount of clay, put it on the bottom of the post, and then put the base plate on. That's pushed the clay through the hole that was left by the rivet, and then we can now use that to replicate what the rivet would have looked like by making the indentation in it. And look, you see, the clay hasn't even set yet. It hasn't even had its 24 hours to set, and already it's holding the base plate on. So it's not that insecure. And once it sets, like I say, it will definitely hold it enough for display purposes. And once it's on there, you can just tinker around the edges, play about with it a little bit. If you find yourself playing about with it too much, just get rid of it and do it again, because it's really easy to do. And the modelling clay's cheap, you've got loads of it. It doesn't take much of the clay to do this. And then I've got some of the paint that I used on the body. I've just got some on a cocktail stick, so I can colour in the rivet, quote rivet, unquote, however you want to say it. We can colour it in so it would look like because the rivets from the factory, they tend to look the same colour as the body of the car. So yeah, you can see there it's had the desired effect. I think I did play with it a little bit more after this footage was taken. I might have even redone it, because I know when you see it in a bit, it looks tidier than that. I'm just touching in the bits around the bottom of the body there, and then a tiny little bit of silver on the wheel hubs just to finish those off a little bit. I mean, we did obviously refurb the wheels when we lacquered the base plate and everything. So, and there we go. That's that does look like a reasonable representation of the river. It's been it's possibly felt like a long road to get here. It's not really. This video was more or less live, just in bits. If you total up the 3 parts that I've uploaded about the restoration of this, it probably adds up to around about 40-45 minutes. But I filmed absolutely everything that I was doing in real time. There's maybe 1 or 2 little bits that I didn't put on camera. Like when I resprayed the roof panel, that took, for the second time, that took all of about 3 seconds. 1 or 2 other little bits that I might have just done off camera. Not much, and probably far outweighed by all these lingering shots of the car in its various stages that I've got in there. So you're probably looking at a total of about 40 minutes from start to finish for me to do this. So yeah, it seems like an odyssey when you're actually watching it. I'm sure it does, and I've certainly got plenty of ways of making it feel a lot longer than it actually is. I know that, but really, when you look at the end result, what we've actually ended up with, what we started with, what we ended up with, I don't think 40-45 minutes is a bad investment of time at all, and the financial investment, the cost of materials and things, minimal. So to anyone who's actually managed to stick this out and watch it all the way through and resisted the temptation to fast forward me or mute me or something like that, or maybe, I don't know, play about with the playback speeds of my voice to make my voice sound funny or whatever, if you've managed to resist all that and you've actually just watched this from start to finish, then I sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart, and hopefully you'll look at 1 or 2 of the other ones that I'll be putting up in the future. So yeah, thank you.